Love feels beautiful. Love feels confusing. Love feels powerful. Sometimes love lifts you up. Sometimes it breaks you down. Most people experience love deeply, but very few understand how it actually works. Today, we explore 6 amazing psychological facts about love that most people never learn. These facts explain why love feels so intense, why it hurts so much, and why it can change who you are. If you have ever fallen in love, stayed too long, let go too late, or questioned your feelings, this article will speak to you. Let's begin. Why psychology matters in love. Love does not live only in the heart. Love lives in the mind. Your brain shapes how you feel attraction, attachment, trust, fear, and loss. That is why two people can experience the same relationship very differently. Psychology helps you understand love instead of guessing. When you understand love, you make healthier choices. You stop repeating the same patterns. Now let's explore the facts. Psychological fact 1. Love can feel like an addiction. When you fall in love, your brain releases powerful chemicals that create pleasure and attachment. Dopamine floods your system during attraction, creating feelings of euphoria and reward. Oxytocin strengthens emotional bonding. These neurochemicals activate the same reward pathways in your brain that respond to substances like cocaine or sugar. This is why love can feel overwhelming at the beginning. You think about one person constantly. Your mood changes based on their attention. Their messages feel exciting. Their absence feels uncomfortable. Your brain starts to connect that person with emotional reward. This process feels very similar to addiction because it follows the same neurological pattern of craving, reward, and withdrawal. That does not mean love is bad. It means love is powerful. The problem starts when love becomes unhealthy. In unhealthy love, the brain still craves emotional reward, even when the relationship causes pain. This explains why many people stay in relationships that hurt them. Their mind remembers the good moments and keeps chasing that feeling again, much like someone chasing the next high. This is also why breakups feel so painful. Your brain suddenly loses a major source of emotional comfort and chemical reward, triggering actual withdrawal symptoms, including anxiety, depression, and physical discomfort. Practical advice. When love feels intense, slow down. Ask yourself if the connection feels calm or chaotic. Healthy love brings peace over time. Unhealthy love keeps you anxious and unsure. Intensity is not the same as depth. True connection builds gradually, creating sustainable attachment rather than emotional dependency. Psychological fact 2. Your brain chooses before your heart feels. Many people say, "My heart chose them." In reality, your brain made the first decision. Your brain constantly scans people for familiarity and emotional patterns. It compares new connections with past experiences, especially childhood and early relationships. That is why you may feel drawn to someone who feels familiar, even if that familiarity comes from pain. Psychologists call this repetition compulsion, the unconscious tendency to recreate emotional dynamics from the past in an attempt to resolve them. Your brain does not always choose what is best. It often chooses what feels known. This explains why people repeat similar relationship patterns again and again. Different faces, same emotional story. Someone who grew up with inconsistent affection might feel drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable because that inconsistency registers as familiar, even comfortable, despite the pain it causes. Your heart feels love after the brain creates attachment. The emotional experience you interpret as falling in love often happens after your subconscious has already identified this person as significant based on deep psychological patterns. Practical advice. Pay attention to patterns. Ask yourself why someone feels familiar. Familiar does not always mean healthy. Notice if you are attracted to similar personality types or relationship dynamics repeatedly, especially if those patterns have caused pain before. Awareness helps you break cycles. When you understand why you choose certain people, you gain the power to choose differently. Psychological fact 3. Love changes how you see reality. When you fall in love, your brain filters information differently. You focus on positive traits. You ignore red flags. You justify bad behavior. This is not weakness. This is biology. Research using brain imaging shows that romantic love actually decreases activity in regions of the brain responsible for critical thinking and negative emotions. Meanwhile, it increases activity in areas associated with reward and motivation. Your brain wants to protect the bond. It highlights good moments and softens warning signs. This phenomenon, sometimes called love is blind, happens because your brain prioritizes emotional connection over objective evaluation during the early stages of attraction. This explains why friends often see problems before you do. They view the situation clearly. You view it emotionally. Your perception is literally altered by the neurochemical state of being in love. Over time, as emotions settle and these chemicals normalize, perception becomes clearer. This is why people sometimes wake up months or years into a relationship and wonder how they missed obvious incompatibilities. Practical advice. Listen when trusted people express concern. The people who love you can often see situations more objectively because they are not experiencing the same neurochemical changes. Take time before making big emotional decisions. Wait for the initial intensity to settle before making life-changing commitments like moving in together, getting married, or merging finances. Strong feelings do not always equal long-term compatibility. Love should grow clearer with time, not more confusing. If confusion increases rather than decreases as a relationship progresses, that is a warning sign worth examining. Psychological fact 4. Emotional safety matters more than passion. Movies teach us that love should feel dramatic and intense. Psychology shows something different. Lasting love depends more on emotional safety than passion. Emotional safety means you feel heard, you feel respected, and you feel calm being yourself. When emotional safety exists, the nervous system relaxes. You feel secure instead of anxious. Attachment theory, developed by psychologist John Bowlby, demonstrates that secure attachment forms the foundation for healthy romantic relationships. People in emotionally safe relationships show lower cortisol levels and better overall mental and physical health. When emotional safety lacks, love feels stressful. You overthink messages. You fear abandonment. You doubt yourself. Your nervous system remains in a state of heightened alert, constantly scanning for threats to the relationship. Passion fades if safety never grows. The initial excitement of a relationship cannot sustain itself long-term without the deeper foundation of trust, consistency, and emotional security. Research on long-term couples shows that emotional safety predicts relationship satisfaction far more accurately than initial passion or chemistry. Practical advice. Notice how you feel around someone. Do you feel peaceful or tense? Do you feel accepted or judged? Your body often knows before your mind does whether someone is emotionally safe. Love should feel like a safe place, not an emotional battlefield. Healthy relationships may have moments of conflict, but the overall emotional tone should be one of security, not chronic anxiety. Psychological fact 5. Love heals old wounds or reopens them. Love does not create new wounds. It reveals existing ones. Relationships bring old emotional patterns to the surface. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. If you grew up feeling unseen, love may trigger a need for constant reassurance. If you experienced instability, love may trigger fear when things feel uncertain. Psychologists understand that our early attachment experiences create internal working models that influence how we relate to romantic partners later in life. This is why love feels deeply personal. Your reactions to relationship situations are not just about the present moment, but also about every relational experience that came before. The good news is that love can heal when both people grow together. A secure, healthy relationship can actually rewire insecure attachment patterns over time. When someone consistently shows up with patience, understanding, and reliability, your nervous system learns new patterns of trust. The wrong love reopens wounds again and again. If a relationship consistently triggers your deepest fears without offering repair or growth, those wounds deepen rather than heal. Practical advice. Notice emotional triggers. When you have a strong reaction that seems disproportionate to the situation, ask yourself what old wound might be activated. Take responsibility for healing, not blaming. Your partner cannot fix wounds they did not create, but they can support your healing process if you take ownership of your growth. Choose partners who support growth, not pain. Look for people who respond with compassion when you're triggered rather than those who exploit your vulnerabilities. Healing happens when awareness meets effort. Understanding your patterns is the first step, but actual healing requires consistent work, sometimes with the help of therapy or counseling. Psychological fact 6. Self-love shapes romantic love. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. When you value yourself, you choose healthier partners. When you doubt yourself, you accept less. Self-love does not mean arrogance. It means self-respect. People with strong self-respect set boundaries, communicate clearly, and walk away from disrespect. They do not beg for love. They allow love to meet them at their level. Research consistently shows that self-esteem and self-compassion correlate strongly with relationship satisfaction. People who value themselves tend to establish healthier relationship dynamics from the beginning. This happens because your relationship with yourself becomes the template for all other relationships. If you criticize yourself constantly, you will tolerate criticism for partners. If you ignore your own needs, you will accept partners who ignore them too. If you treat yourself with kindness, you will expect kindness from others. Practical advice. Strengthen your relationship with yourself. Spend time understanding your values, needs, and boundaries before trying to merge your life with someone else. Build a life you enjoy outside romance. Cultivate friendships, hobbies, goals, and sources of fulfillment that exist independently of romantic relationships. Love should add to your life, not complete it. When you enter a relationship already feeling whole, you create partnership from abundance rather than need. Healthy love grows from a healthy sense of self. The more secure you are in your own worth, the more capable you become of building truly healthy, balanced romantic connections. Why understanding love changes everything. When you understand love psychologically, you stop blaming yourself. You realize you are not weak for feeling deeply, you are not broken for struggling to let go, and you are human. Understanding love gives you power. You stop reacting blindly. You choose consciously. Love becomes a choice, not a trap. When you understand the psychological mechanisms behind attraction, attachment, and emotional bonding, you gain the ability to work with these forces rather than being controlled by them. How to apply these facts in daily life. You do not need to change overnight. Start small. Pause before reacting emotionally. Reflect on patterns. Choose calm over chaos. Growth happens slowly but surely. Each healthy choice rewires your mind, creating new neural pathways that support better relationship patterns. Small, consistent changes compound over time into significant transformation. Final reflection. Love is not just a feeling. Love is a psychological experience that shapes your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. When you understand love, you protect your heart without closing it. You love deeply without losing yourself. And that is real strength. If this message spoke to you, share your thoughts in the comments. Your story matters here. Like this video if it helped you understand love more clearly. Subscribe to SoulTalker for more insights on love, psychology, confidence, and self-worth. And don't forget to watch our other videos for practical tips that help you build healthier relationships and a stronger inner life. Until next time, stay aware, stay grounded, and choose love wisely.